This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and we're going to jump into our portal to the DC Multiverse so we can take a look at the Batgirl figure from the Batgirl and Robin movie. This was made back in the 90s, I want to say, where Alicia Silverstone played Batgirl. And she comes with the parts to create Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold. And I'm not going to say his last name because I'm sure the AI in YouTube will knock me for it. But you know who I'm talking about. On the side, we just kind of see the Batman and Robin movie logo. The interesting thing about this was that Robin looks more like Nightwing, but they still kept the name Robin. On the back, instead of seeing a picture of Batgirl, we see Mr. Freeze's head. Now, I wonder if that would be on the back of all of the packages, or if they will come with pictures of the parts of the body that he's supposed to have with the figures. Also in this wave, of course, we had Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Robin, and Batman. Oddly enough, as far as this wave went, Batgirl seems to be the one that's the most expensive to get if you didn't get a chance to pre-order her originally. Oh, they really like to do their plastic here, don't they? So we have a card showing Batgirl's face. Interesting to note, like I remember reading that when Alicia Silverstone played Batgirl, originally she was supposed to wear a full cowl, but it was so tight on her hair that she couldn't work with it. So they switched to just the eye mask like Robin. But unfortunately, they did not give her bat ears, which they probably should have gone ahead and done. Another unique thing to mention is I remember reading an interview with her a few years ago from when she made this movie. Because if you may recall, if you've watched it, which I'm sorry if you have, both Batman and Robin's costumes have nipples on them. And she apparently asked the costume designer, "So how come the boys have nipples on their suits and I don't have them on mine?" On the back of the card, we have some information for her. Batgirl, Batman and Robin. Data file. Real name, Barbara Wilson. The Dark Knight battles his greatest threats yet. Cold-hearted Mr. Freeze, venomous Poison Ivy, and the unstoppable brute known as Bane. Batman finds himself at odds with his crime-fighting comrade Robin, no longer satisfied with his role as a sidekick. And as Mr. Freeze threatens to unleash a new ice age upon the citizens of Gotham City, the dynamic duo, now joined by the heroic newcomer Batgirl, must learn to work as a team before Gotham City is put on ice. So I wonder if this informational bit here is going to be the same on all the cards. This is the only figure I've gotten from this line because it's the only one I actually really cared about. And as you may have noticed, they called her Barbara Wilson in the Batman and Robin universe. She is actually the niece of Alfred Pennyworth, which doesn't really explain why she has the name Wilson. I really hate that packaging. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Batgirl figure here. Now, they could do a second wave of these figures easily enough because Batman, Robin, and Batgirl all had their quote armor versions from the movie. So we could always see that at some point in the future too. And that'd be pretty cool. In that case, they could probably give us a Bane collect and connect figure if they wanted to. Although, to be fair, I don't really think this face sculpt looks much like Alicia Silverstone. But let me know what you guys think in the comments if it does or not. It is kind of interesting, though. It might be hard to see, but they do have it sculpted so that you can see the outline of the mask, and then you can see where the inner eye paint would have been used to keep the darkness all the way to her eyes. The hair sculpt's not too bad. Um, Sorry, there was somebody playing music nearby, and I'm going to restart this from kind of where I was talking about her hair sculpt. So overall, the hair doesn't look too bad, though. Like I may have mentioned before, depending on where I cut this, I don't think she looks much like Alicia Silverstone. But let me know in the comments if you think she does or not. But what I thought was interesting to note here is that you can see the ridges for the mask, and then you can see the line where the eye paint would be. And although the mask and the eye paint are painted the same color, they didn't like try to differentiate that at all. It is kind of a nice effect on the mask, so it just shows a lot of detail. Although I think they should have made the lips a little bit brighter, maybe. Her costume has a bat logo going, actually outlining the top of her breasts, which is kind of funny. Um, and the costume is kind of double layered there as well. So it's almost like a corset with a where it has the bust part, and then like if you're wearing a sheer shirt underneath it, type of thing, which is pretty accurate for the show or the movie. And actually, in fact, when you look at the way the costume is designed here, it does kind of look like it's designed like a corset, but I don't know if that's actually how it was done. She also has, as part of her costume outfit, what would appear to be like long shoulder length gloves over the suit itself for the arms. And then she's, of course, wearing the thigh high boots with a chunky heel, which the heels look kind of weird to me. But anyway, there's also a belt here down at her hips, although there do not seem to be any utility pouches in it. Not that I think Batman and Robin had utility pouches in their later film versions either. The little spikes on the back of her sleeve are actually kind of pointy and do hurt a little bit when touched. Articulation wise, we have a ball joint at the neck, so we can spin it a little bit. The hair, of course, does interfere a bit, though you can still get a 360 on the head if you really try. I don't know if I want to try taking it out, but I would say there's also a bit of a leeway there on the ball joint neck, so that you can kind of do that chicken neck thing almost, like I do with the G.I. Joe ones. We have the standard up and down. There is a butterfly joint in her shoulder here, and it actually moves both forward, back, and up and down, so that's kind of different. We can spin the arm around, but if you want to try to go straight up, the hair does get in the way. We do have a bicep cut, and she does give us the double jointed elbows that we like to have in our action figures. And she has a spin at the wrist and up and down articulation at the fist. And unfortunately, she only has fists and doesn't come with any kind of other gripping hands. Not that she used any weapons in the show, I think. It's been a long time since I saw it, and I think I only watched it twice. because again, it's not a particularly good movie. I don't even find it to be one of those movies where I'd want to sit down with friends and make fun of it. But I will say this: I think Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl was, in fact, the highlight of the movie. I know a lot of people like Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, in fact, but my preference is definitely Batgirl. I am not a fan of the way this cape is molded like this. I don't know why they did that. They should have given us I think, a cloth cape because she's Batgirl. She could have done the whole wings out thing too, but no, we didn't get that. All right, so we do have a boob cut to spin her around at the torso. We also have a ball joint at the waist, so we can also spin her there and move her all about. So we can kind of get that weird kind of like shape like that if we wanted. She has a unique diaper. Does not accentuate her butt at all, which is really a shame because most of the superhero costumes are designed to do that. There's a story of was it Liv Tyler who played Wasp, where she had commented that she wanted the costume to be a little tighter around the butt because she worked out a lot and wanted to show it off. So we can kick her leg up that far. We can only kick back about that far though before we are caught by the diaper's butt. If we move it out a little bit, we can get a little bit more back to it. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, McFarlane does not put in a thigh cut, which is surprising because, again, McFarlane Toys made their big thing by having highly articulated figures back in the day. So we have no thigh cut, which has a negative effect, because when we have the double jointed knee here, we still can't like really twist the leg out of the way we would want to. We do, of course, have a hinge at the ankle, and if you look at this, the hinge it's kind of like split in half. Like part of the hinge is part of the upper leg and part of the hinge is part of the lower leg. So when we see it, only half of it is actually moving. So from the outside, it doesn't look like anything's moving at all, but on the inside, you can kind of see it. We also have articulated toes, which again, I like the articulated toes. It kind of gives you that opportunity to give her a different kind of stance. But again, without the thigh cut, we can't really move the leg into a lot of different positions. And let's go ahead and bring the McFarlane stand out. And the McFarlane stand, where it's only got the one little cut in it, or one little peg. I do not like the way this cape sits there because it is. First off, they're doing the whole asymmetrical design with the cape for whatever reason, where everything else on here, aside from her hair, is symmetrical. And it just, to me, it looks awful. I'm not a big fan of capes that are molded to start with. I'm even less of a fan of them when they're molded into some weird position and not just more of a neutral one. I think it should be standing down. Maybe if they're going to do it in this rubbery material, we could have it like this, but have it be evenly down here so that we see the like the little spiky things for the cape evenly around her. Because that, to me, that looks like there should be some kind of a breeze or something blowing or whatever to move it sideways like that. And it just does not look good to me, in my opinion. But let me know what you think of that. Maybe you guys like that sort of thing. I personally don't. So as we said before, she does come with parts to make Mr. Freeze. You've got his head right here. We do have a nice plastic head. Well, obviously. But we have like the solid plastic for the face, which is molded, it looks like in silver and then painted blue, kind of metallic-y, I guess, to try to give that like frozen look to it. But then he has this kind of clear blue plastic for the helmet on top of his head to give that look that they had in the movie. And there are a pretty fair amount of details decked out in silver here. So the sculpt looks pretty good, although this does not to me look like Arnold. We also get his shoulder pauldrons for the armor, which again won't do me any good unless I get the other figures. He comes with his freeze gun, which I guess it doesn't look too bad for a freeze gun. So I guess he'd hold the handle there and hold this handle here to shoot. But it also comes with an ice effect. So we can see it blasting, like so. Not bad, but not really the greatest thing in the world. And of course, we can't even have like Batgirl hold onto it because once again, she has fists and not any gripping hands. If you're going to give the character fists, I would really like it if they also gave them gripping hands to go with it. Kind of like the same with the Masters of the Universe figures that we've been getting. If they're going to do the quote shield hand or the slapping hand, as a lot of us joke about it, they should really go ahead and give us a gripping hand as well. This is the same issue I had with the Batman that came with the Batmobile for the Amazon exclusive. He comes with the freaking Batmobile, but he can't hold the steering wheel because he's got just fists. That is a flaw in the figure. You can't even say figure design because we've seen the gripping hands with other figures. They just went cheap on us. The same with the lack of the thigh cut. This is the most disappointing thing about a lot of the McFarlane toys is that they don't put the thigh cuts in there, like, which is almost standard on this style of toy at this point. Even worse though is when you get some of the McFarlane toys that are based on like some of the older properties, like the 1966 Batman or the animated shows like Super Friends. They don't even have like you can't even kick out like that with a lot of those figures. They only have a joint going up and down like this. So yeah, I don't know why they just don't keep it standard. I don't know why you don't give us the thigh cut. The cape also appears to be glued in place, so it doesn't look like it'll come off. Please let me know what you think of this Batgirl figure, and let me know. Do you think should I try to get the other ones? Batman, Robin, and Poison Ivy are all still fairly well available. Batgirl is the only one that's difficult to find, or online at any rate. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Peace and love.